Hello, naked truthers. Welcome back. It has been months. A lot has transpired, and I've missed talking to y'all. How the hell are y'all? How have y'all been? How has the beginning of 2026 been for you? Hell, how did the end of 2025 go for y'all? Life is beautiful, and I feel like I'm at this place of integration, frustration, overwhelm, um, grace. It's a lot. I'm sitting in the middle of like a melting pot, right? Trying to figure it all out. And maybe that's the issue, the fact that I'm trying to figure it out instead of just allowing, instead of just surrendering, instead of just being. I find myself just wanting to do, and not just be. For some reason, that stillness, that level of stillness that I feel like my life is requesting or requiring from me right now seems to be so hard to just like submerge myself in that level of stillness. Especially being a mom, I just feel like I always have to be on the move, always have to be 10 steps ahead. I just feel like even when I'm resting, I'm always going. My mind doesn't stop. My body doesn't completely rest. Like I'm laying down right now, right? And it's still like things that I'm thinking about. I feel like the atoms in my body are just going all over the place. Like, not so much thought wise, but I just feel like this energy of constant movement within my body, within my spirit, within like, it's not that energy of just complete relaxation. The way that I feel when I'm sitting in the middle of the water of the ocean, like, just like I need that. That is complete peace. And I have to figure out how to create that feeling, that energy, that vibe, that level of stillness and joy that I get when I'm in the ocean. Because it's like no other. I am doing well, though. I am, you know, and I'm just at a place of going through the motions of motherhood, right? And like I said, that integration process. Lately, my daughter has been throwing tantrums left and right. Like, she'll wake up from a nap and just instantly choose violence. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, I don't say that to her, but I be thinking that in my brain. Like, what is the matter? Like, why'd you wake up screaming? Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. But she been giving it to me, and I just been having a woosah because it takes everything in me to remain so calm. I try my best not to respond to her fire with fire, to not yell, to not scream, to not lose myself in the frustration that I feel towards her big emotions, right? Because hell, I be wanting to melt down inside too, like, but I do my best to keep myself calm so that my nervous system can regulate hers, and we're both not over here wilding out. But it's been so hard. Like, it takes so much restraint. And I be taking them deep breaths, but she be testing me. Or maybe her emotions or just the energy be triggering as fuck to me. Maybe it's more of a trigger than a test, right? And so just navigating through that, because of course I want her to feel her feelings and honor her emotions. And yeah, she's only 2, but I don't want to make it to a place to where it's like, okay, stop crying, why are you crying, this, that, and the third, you know what I mean? And then that's built into her that crying is an issue, or that she can't feel her feelings, or I'm not trying to do all that. So I'm just trying to figure it out and show her the way while showing myself the way as well. Hell, maybe she is showing me the way. I read something one time, and I don't remember who it came from or where I saw it, but it stuck with me. And it was basically saying maybe you were given, this child that has these big emotions or that cries a lot because she's basically crying out or releasing every emotion that you ever suppressed. And that shit hit me like, wow. Because I grew up suppressing emotion, right? I grew up holding in how I felt. And there have been times where I didn't let my tears flow too. And so, the whole thing of how what we don't release, or what we don't heal before we have children are basically passed down to them. And so I sit here with that and I just let that marinate. Like, damn, is she crying for all the times that I didn't cry, or all the times that I didn't allow myself to cry, all the times that I didn't allow myself to express, all the times that I bit my tongue, all the times that I held in my frustration? Is my daughter releasing that? And it's just like, damn, you know what I mean? And so I want to continue to inspire her to be free emotionally, to be liberated, to not bite your tongue, to speak your peace, to stand 10 toes down in what you believe in, but also be open minded at the same time. I came here to really share a moment of motherhood, a moment of transparency, a moment of honesty, of vulnerability, of rawness, a moment to just open up and to connect with other moms out there, right? Because I'm in a place of integration, and I've said it like 3 times, of figuring out who I am, who I'm becoming, who I was, and grieving who I was, but also being grateful for who I am and who I'm becoming, right? And it's been a little difficult for me, the whole integration process, because it's a part of me that's like, damn, I miss the old me. But at the same time, it's like, I gave birth, I had a child, like, I'm a whole mother out here in these streets. So while I miss the old me, a part of me is no longer her. A part of me is no longer that person that was kid free. You know what I mean? And it's like, I have to finally accept that and let her go and release her. But the parts of me that I feel like I lost or is hidden or maybe just buried somewhere deep inside of me, I yearn for those deeply. I yearn for those parts of me. I miss them. I miss her, right? And so, especially the part of me that I feel like I have finally tapped into, my voice, my sexuality, my sensuality, that divine feminine energy, I feel disconnected from that. And I've been missing the fuck out of that. And so I was sharing on Facebook, like, just how I miss my sexual energy. And I would like to share that level of vulnerability with all my listeners, all my naked truthers. We're about to get real naked, okay? So I'm just gonna read what I wrote and then, just flow however it flows. So the post starts off by saying, "This may be TMI, but in all honesty, I miss the fuck out of my sexual energy. Before I got pregnant, I had finally reached this place of feeling fully liberated, sexually, sensually. I was free as fuck, comfortable in my energy, and it felt so good to be there. My sexual energy was high as fuck, and it was an amazing, amazing feeling. And the crazy thing is, like, it took me years to get there, years, because growing up, I was always uncomfortable in my feminine energy. Even in my late 20s, it was still this level of uncomfortability with that divine feminine energy, and I really didn't know how to connect with it. And, I often led with my masculine energy because that's what felt comfortable to me. It was like this level of protection, and I operated in that. Like, I had that shield up, I had that armor up, and it was constantly protecting my feminine energy, but at the same time suppressing her, right? And so, like, growing up, I hated wearing dresses. I didn't really dabble in the extra girly stuff. Like, I wore baggy ass clothes to school. I wasn't comfortable with my body, nor was I comfortable in my body, right? And so I had finally got to this place to where I could look at my mirror and smile. My reflection smiled back at me. I was in love with me, with my body. I was in a good place, you know? I finally knew the power of my energy, how it felt, how to harness it. And it was an amazing, amazing feeling. And it's really hard to put into words exactly as I would like to. But I just really miss that sexual energy, like that power that came with that energy, the way that it felt inside. To finally just feel like this sense of divine connection, to finally feel like I had discovered my divine feminine energy, you know? And it was like ever since I got pregnant, it disappeared. And like, I know I went through a lot of shit through my pregnancy, and a lot of it was traumatic. And I know that I probably still need to do some digging and some releasing and healing. I get it. But it feels like the connection was just severed. And it's like, I don't know how to get it back. And it's just this feeling, like this constant nagging that something is missing. A part of me is missing, and it almost feels empty. I feel like she's like buried underneath it all. Like everything that I dealt with, everything that just went left with my pregnancy. Like I just feel like my divine feminine energy is under there. But she's also rageful, you know, but I feel like she's kind of buried. I feel like I'm holding her back. Someone told me to tap into my dark divine feminine energy, and I feel like, you know what, I feel her. I feel that rage. I feel that anger that wants to come out, but with that anger, to not be irresponsible but to serve a purpose. Like she wants to fucking speak, like tear up some shit. Like she tired of holding back, you know what I mean? She's tired of being held back, I should say. um but yes, it's like something is just missing. And it's like this void that I need to fill within myself, right? And it's like I dig a bit, I clear some shit away, but it's like before I can fully grasp onto her again, she slips away. And I'm left with this constant feeling of being disconnected. And this may sound crazy, but I really do miss being horny, right? I miss like that craving energy, like desiring sex. So it's like the desire. I miss that feeling of power in my yoni, that urge, that intensity. And I felt so disconnected from my body since having a child and everything I've experienced, right? And it is not so much the act of sex. Like I'm not out here just like, damn, I want to be fucked. Like no, it's not that. And it's the power of the energy. I just miss the feeling of like I want to have sex. Like I missed that part of it before we even get into the sex. You know what I mean? Like that's what I missed. That feeling of being horny, of being aroused. Because I feel like it's been lacking. It comes and it goes. It doesn't stay long. And I feel like when I get back to this place of like, all right, I got my sexual energy back. It's like something happens or I get stressed and that shit disappears, and I don't see it again or I don't feel it again for quite a bit of time. And so, yeah, it's just like sitting here like, damn, you know, it's just thinking like, I really do miss having that desire. Mm. But like I said, it's the desire to just have that power, that feeling back. And not just so I can have sex, but just like the energy alone. Because sex honestly don't really even be on my mind. Like I'm not gonna front. I be in like this overwhelmed mom state and survivalized energy. Like I don't even be thinking about sex. And maybe that is the issue. Shit, maybe I do need to bust a couple nuts. Anyway, I had got to this place where like I was so comfortable with sharing my journey online, right? My sexuality, my sensuality, like expressing that, feeling and being liberated in it, to the point to where I was inspiring other women to tap in, right? And it created like this persona, this aura. People associated me with that liberation. They knew me as like this sensual being. Like, oh yeah, cosmic, man, she a walking tease. Like I'm erotic poetry in human form, that forbidden fruit, unattainable, but I flourished in that energy. You know what I mean? And it just felt good to even just be able to express it unapologetically, right? And inspire other women. Like it was just beautiful as energy. And like I said, I know I've gone through a lot the past 2 years, and I guess the heaviness of it all still weighs me down. You know, I feel like my divine feminine energy is angry as fuck. Like I said, she's raging. Like I could feel that rage at times, but I hold it back. I don't let her out, right? And I think a part of me is scared, like, what the fuck happens if I do let her out? What if I say what I truly want to say to, like, certain people? And it's like, I don't want, and this is the thing, because I'm judging myself, right? Oh, how would they feel about this if I said this or this, that, and the third? And it's like holding myself back at the same time being a fucking people pleaser in a sense, because I'm restricting myself to save somebody else's feelings. And it's creating this raging war inside of me, right? And I thought I had got from this place, but now I'm realizing that a lot of what I don't say is because there's a part of me that still wants to keep the peace. There's a part of me that's like, man, it ain't even worth going through the headache. And then my divine feminine is like, nah, fuck all that. Speak your mind, say what you need to say, get this shit up out of you, right? Be free in your expression. And it makes me think right now while I'm talking about this, it makes me think about how they say the vagina and like the your throat, your vocal cords, right? It's connected. Like your throat and your vagina are connected. And so I'm thinking, like, if I'm not truly speaking, if I'm not allowing my words to truly flow, if I'm not really out here saying what I need to say and expressing from my throat chakra, then yeah, maybe, just maybe, it is contributing to the flow that I feel is blocked within my yoni, you know? So here I am speaking. Maybe it'll open the gates. The gates of arousal. But yes. So I'm just sitting here with all this energy. But like I said, I feel like she's raging, but at the same time, it's like this level of exhaustion, of just like being tired, right? And it's just like, damn, I just want to be held. I just desire this safe space, a space to break down, to not have to hold it all together, right? Because I feel like I've been holding it together for so long. And it's like, it takes so much fucking energy to hold it together. And I think that's our downfall sometimes, always trying to hold it together instead of just allowing ourselves to break apart, allowing ourselves to fall apart, allowing ourselves to just break down, to cry, to scream, to shout, to say, I'm not fucking okay. But I will be. But in this moment, I'm not okay. And that's okay. But oftentimes, it's just this essence of, oh no, be strong, you got this. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe I don't want to be strong anymore. Maybe it's trying to be strong that is actually making me weak. Maybe the be strong is what's deteriorating my energy, depleting my energy, right? And just putting out that flame, because it's just like, hold on, hang in there. You got this. If I'm telling you I don't got it, don't fucking tell me I got it. If I'm telling you I can't be strong anymore, don't tell me yes you can. No, the fuck I can't. I'm telling you I can't do it. I don't have the energy within me. I'm telling you I'm at this place of rock bottom. If I'm telling you that, your response should not be, you got this. Hang in there. You'll figure it out. Stay strong, mama. No, no. Offer me a safe space. I'm coming to you, telling you that I don't have it. So, do you have me while I'm trying to figure out how to get back into a place of having it? Are you able to offer me that safe space? Are you able to offer me your arms to be held in? Are you able to offer me just a shoulder to cry on? Or just someone to wipe my tears? It's okay if you don't have the words to say. Sometimes I don't need words. I just need a safe space. I just need to be able to come to somebody and let it all go. Be able to break down, to show my tears, to be in that place of rawness, vulnerableness, to be naked as fuck. Are you able to hold and contain my naked truths without dismissing it and telling me that I'll be all right? or that I'm strong and I got this. Because to me, it is a form of dismissal. If I come to you and tell you that I'm not okay, and you'll say to me, you'll be all right, you'll make it, you got this. It's a form of dismissal to me. You're not truly seeing me, you know? Overall, I just really want to get back to me. I miss me. And yes, I know they say, oh, it takes time to get back to who you were, postpartum. The the lowest number I've seen was about 2 years. Like, oh, women will start feeling back like themselves after 2 years. I've had some people comment on my post and say it takes up to 7 years, which is wild to me. Like 7 years, like no, I got to get myself back way before then. I'm at the 2 year mark now, and I really still don't feel like myself. And it's interesting because it's like, what are you trying to get back to? What is it that you're wanting to feel? Like, you're a whole new woman, a whole new person, and you're becoming something totally different, or becoming someone totally different than who you were. You're in a whole new path, a whole new territory. You're navigating new terrain. Like, what does it mean to be a mother? You know what I mean? So I'll never truly be who I was before, and that's okay. But it is this grieving process, and it's this energy of being okay with grieving who you were, but also grateful for who you are, right? I can grieve the old me, but still be happy and joyful and grateful that I am a mom and I have a beautiful 2 year old daughter. And so it's understanding that it can be this and that. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Because a lot of people will try to shame you. A lot of people will try to make you feel bad, like, oh, just be grateful that you're a mom. And I am. But that doesn't mean that I don't struggle. That doesn't mean that I don't have those challenging days. That doesn't mean that I can't miss who I was before. That doesn't mean that I can't grieve that lifestyle that I used to have. You know what I mean? It can be this and that. It's just an acceptance of the two, basically. So when I say I want to get back to me, I have to ask myself too, like, what do you wanting to go back to? And how do you bring that into who you are now? How do you implement or converge or align that with the mom that you are as well, right? Because I feel like within this 2 years, I've just been under the title of mom, mommy, mama, right? My daughter has called me all three. She has. When she hit me with the mom one day, I was like, how old are you? But anyway, it's just like, to not allow myself to get stuck under a title, under that label. And I don't hold the title lightly. Trust me, I am so honored that she chose me, that in this lifetime I'm able to be a mother, because I know a lot of women struggle with that, and I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. So if you struggle with becoming a mom, trust me, I'm grateful. But you also have to understand that I'm allowed to be in a place of grief, of frustration, of sadness. I'm allowed to be in my feelings as well as being grateful. I often see this fight a lot online. And it's crazy because it's like a mom can't express how she truly feels, right? Because it's always somebody, and usually it's another woman, but it's always somebody that comes through and tries to, like I said, shame her or argue with her for her feelings. Like, how are you arguing with me because how I feel? You don't live my life. You don't walk in my shoes. And you can't fucking relate if you're actually arguing with me because I post that I'm frustrated or that I'm upset or that I'm fucking tired. And you come on my post and you say, just be grateful that you're a mother. That is the wildest shit. And that hasn't happened to me in particular, but I've seen it. And it's so dismissive. And then people wonder why the moms don't speak up when they need help, why they don't truly say how they're feeling. Support is not always there. It's not always there. And like I said, it's only been 2 years, but it's like this feeling like motherhood has erased who I was. And that's heavy to sit with. The grief is heavy, so fucking heavy. And then it's like those days where it's like, damn, I'm a mom, yo. Like, it's wild. And I smile and I'm grateful. My daughter makes me laugh. She brings me so much joy. She's taught me a lot in the past 2 years about myself, you know? She's shown me me. She's mirrored a lot of shit to me, you know? But like I said, it's just that level of integration. Every now and then I get a glimpse of myself, right? And it's just, I feel like I'm being pulled in many directions. And it's like, which one leads me back to me? Because a part of me feels trapped, trapped in everything I experienced, being pregnant, living out of a car. I don't know if I spoke about that on here, but when I was pregnant, I was going through like a homelessness situation. I was sleeping out of a car and it was wild. It was a lot of stress. And I'm so grateful that baby girl came out healthy. She was like 4 pounds and 7 ounces, but she still came out healthy. She passed every fucking test. She didn't have to go to the NICU and we didn't have to stay extra in the hospital. And so I used to worry about that. Like, damn, like, am I harming my baby with the level of stress that I'm under while being pregnant? And that used to bother me. It was just like this intense mom guilt, right? And so a part of me feels trapped in everything that I experienced. Like, I never thought that I would experience in life not having a roof over my head. I mean, yeah, the car has, the enclosure of being in a car and a roof, but I meant like a house. Like, I never thought I would experience some shit like that, especially by being pregnant. Like, and this is the thing, because I had this whole idea of how my pregnancy would go. I had these expectations, and maybe that was the issue. I was attached to the outcome of what I wanted, what I desired, you know, and shit totally went left, and it went nothing like what I had in my mind for my birth, my pregnancy, nothing. I told myself when I got pregnant, it would be peaceful as fuck. It was the total opposite of peaceful. Even down to like the last few weeks when things hit the fan, and now they're telling me my daughter is smaller than what she should be, and now my pregnancy is high risk, and then all of a sudden my water is breaking before she's due, which honestly, in my opinion, it was right around the time she was supposed to be due because the doctors didn't listen to me as opposed to my due date. I went to the doctor late, right? I didn't get seen by a doctor till I was 5 months because when I was living out of a car, I didn't have health insurance. But anyway, I didn't get seen by a doctor until I was 5 months. And so they're like, oh, well, we don't know, you know, when exactly you got pregnant, this, that, and the third. And they tried to tell me that because my daughter was small at that time, um my due date was a month later than what it was, and I was telling them like, nah, I'm gonna be due in November, like this is my last period date, this, that, and the third. And they're like, oh, well, we're going by what we see on an ultrasound, which I get. But at the same time, I do wish in that moment that they saw me at 5 months, they sent me to someone else to get a deeper look into why she was so small or why she was a month behind when I'm telling them, like, this is when I got pregnant, this, that, and the third, my last period, the conception date, all of that stuff. But they was just like, no, the ultrasound shows this, so this is what it's gonna be, right? It wasn't until I went to the birth center that they was like, nah, let's send you to a specialist. Let's double check this. And then that's when shit got exposed. Um, that it was like, I think it's called intrauterine growth restriction or something like that, IUGR, right? And then that's when that was exposed right at the fucking end of my pregnancy. But it could have all been avoided, in my opinion. But anyway, let's move on because I don't want to get caught up in that. It is what it is. It happened how it happened, and we're here. My daughter is alive. I'm alive. We made it. Like, it is what it is, right? But like I was saying, it's just like a part of me that feels like still trapped in that whole experience of everything and not truly getting to, live out the birthing plan that I had for myself and for my daughter. Losing that level of control, it weighs heavy. I just wanted my water birth. Like I had it all visualized in my head. But I got an unexpected C-section, and like I said before, like my body has felt like it was the enemy. And I know she's not. I know. But it was just that feeling because it was like, damn, why aren't you working? You know what I mean? Why aren't you dilating? Because, like I said before in one of my previous episodes, I only made it to 4 centimeters, right? And that was it. It was like it just there. And I get it. I was stressed out. My body wasn't at a place of relaxation. The hospital is not a peaceful place to me. It was not relaxing to me. You have doctors coming in and out, you know and it was just like they're making it seem like something is wrong with me. And then they're doing shit without my permission. Like one of the nurses, she went in when she went to check my cervix, and that is the most painfulest shit ever. But she did a membrane sweep, and I didn't ask her to do that. She didn't ask for my permission. She just went in and she did that shit, and it hurt so fucking bad. And then when she pulled her hands out, she was like, "Oh yeah, you're still 4 centimeters dilated." And I did a membrane sweep, by the way. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you didn't even ask to do, like, it's crazy, like, the shit that happens. Yeah. And so it's just like the violation, the unexpected C-section, like, my body, I just felt like me and my body was just like enemies because my brain, I'm trying to calculate, okay, like, well, why isn't it working? Why am I not dilating more? Why is it being stalled? And they're like throwing induction at me, and I've been in the hospital for 3 days, and now they're saying, oh, infection this and da 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 da. I didn't have an infection, but they were saying it was like a possibility or whatever. And I know I probably told all of this in my original birth story that I have on here, but it's just taking me back to the emotions as I express this energy of like missing my sexual energy and missing myself, right? And just being stuck on a loop of everything that has happened, right? And it's so funny because I feel like I have released a good bit of it, but I guess I haven't released it all. And it's like, as they say, healing comes in layers of like an onion. And I feel like I've been pulling back the layers, the layers, the layers. And then I get hit with like a layer that I thought I completely pulled off, and it's like, nope, it's still there. There are times that I could watch a C-section video and that shit will bring me to tears. Like, I will literally break down watching another woman have a C-section, right? There's this guy on Instagram, and he makes I can't remember his name right now, but he makes music about like women and pregnancy. He has a wife, and she's gone through like different pregnancies, and he like makes songs about it. And it was this one song in particular, this C-section song that he has, and it brought me to tears. Like, I bawled listening to that. I felt seen. I felt seen. I felt like he understood, and it's so wild because he's a man. And it's not to say that men can't understand, but it's just the way that he put it into words. It was like he knew how to speak what I could not. And I felt seen. I felt heard. And my body felt like finally someone gets it. And I just cried and I cried. And it was so wild. And I just want to be to a place to where it's like all that shit is just released, and I'm no longer crying over my pregnancy or over my birth story. And I know I'll get there. And yeah, I know I gotta have patience and I gotta have grace with myself. And I get it. It takes time to heal. And bringing a child into this world is no easy feat. Like, it's not something that you just get over, right? It's not something that you just bounce back from, right? And telling women to bounce back is crazy because every woman is different, and it takes time for every woman to heal, right? There's no comparison. And I be seeing this a lot too, like with the natural birth and the comparison of a C-section. Like, oh, it's not natural. Oh, C-section is the easier way. Like, it's crazy. It is definitely not the easier way, right? It's definitely not. And I don't knock anybody that has had a full vaginal natural birth. Like, I get it. I don't know what that feels like. And at the same time, if you've never had a C-section, you don't know what that feels like. So you can't say it's the easy fucking way out, right? Because it's not. It's a fucking intense ass, major ass surgery. Like, 7 layers of my body has been cut into that has to heal back now. So yeah, I may not be pushing out a baby out my vagina and she not stretching out everything, and I'm not experiencing that pain. Like, I get it. But I did experience pain on multiple fucking levels. Okay? And it did take multiple weeks for me to heal. Actually, longer than that. Because I experienced some other health complications that came with the C-section. And I always tell people, like, birth, pregnancy, motherhood is literally life or death kind of energy. It's playing Russian roulette with your life, because any little thing can happen that can go wrong, that can take you out. And your child may still be here, but something can happen that can take you out as a mother. And it's scary in a sense, right? And of course, you don't want to go into it with this fear, but it's a self-awareness kind of energy. It's this energy of like, listen, you're about to bring a beautiful being into this world, but at the same time, it could end your life. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because like I be seeing these stories of these moms, especially like when they have other children. It be so sad. They go and they give birth and they don't make it off the fucking table, right? And it's just like, damn. Like those stories bother me in a sense because it's like, oh man, now that baby is growing up without a mom, right? Okay, but let me not ramble too much that way. But I was saying, like, I had got to a place where I felt like my body was the enemy because it didn't show up. Or maybe it did, and maybe I just didn't meet it halfway. I don't know. Maybe it was just the environment. Maybe it was just the stress. Maybe it was just every fucking thing, you know? And then even afterwards, I had to go through like this healing process of understanding, like, yo, your body is not the enemy. Because I struggled to breastfeed, and that affected me deeply too, because it's like, damn, here we go again. My body not doing what it's supposed to do, right? And then I got to think about the level of support. Was I, how, and it's not to blame myself, but it's like the body is amazing, right? But sometimes it does need that extra support to do what it's supposed to do. And it was just like, man, what could I have done differently? And I have to let that go too. Like constantly wondering the what ifs or the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and just let it fucking go. Like, Dom, it's over. It is over, girl. Like, you made it through. Release it. I used to feel like a failure as a mom. I did. Before I even had my child, I felt like I was a failure as a mom. For the simple fact that I was stressing as much as I was stressing. For the simple fact that I felt like I was bringing a child into this world into lack. And that fucking bothered me because I didn't have my own place. And it's like, I feel like, how are you having a child when your money ain't right? You bring her into a world where she ain't gonna have her own place. Like, it bothered me to not be able to set up a nursery. That hurt my heart so bad. Like, there's no room for her. Like, I can't set up a nursery. Like, she doesn't have a crib. Like, I just felt like I failed her in a sense before she even came earthside. While she was in me, I was crying. There were days and nights that I cried because I felt like I failed as a mom. And it was so much guilt. It was so much guilt. And then I felt guilty for my guilt because I'm like, yo, I'm passing this all to her. Like, the baby, they feel everything while they're inside of us. And those emotions and that energy, they take it on. So now it's like I'm guilty for feeling guilt because it's like, damn, I'm passing on this guilt, I'm passing on this stress, I'm passing on this anxiety, I'm passing on all this shit to my daughter. And so it was just levels on top of levels of how I felt. And it's just wild, right? My body actually healed pretty fucking amazing. And even my doctor said that. Like, he was like, wow, uh your body healed so good from the C-section. Like, the scar you can barely see. And I give my doc props for that because he did an amazing job sewing me back together. Okay, like, amazing. Kudos to him. For real. But yeah, it's just like this energy of loving myself and getting back to that place of loving my body. And I've gone through the motions of that too. And I know there's still more that I have to do. I know there is. And I don't see my body as the enemy anymore. But that's just where I was in that moment of healing, you know. Um and I feel like that's probably where a big part of the disconnect has come from. Like, just seeing my body as the enemy. I feel like that drove a big ass disconnect between myself and my body and just my feminine energy for sure. Um, either way, I miss myself. And it's like, I love that I'm a mom, like I was saying, I do. But there's just a part of me that just feels like she's missing. And I'm doing my best to get her back. And, I'm not rushing it anymore. Before I was, but I'm in a place of like, okay, acceptance, grace, forgiveness. releasing the heaviness and the baggage. There's just still some times that I cry, and that's okay because tears are healing. Tears release the words that never got spoken. You know, it's I love my tears. They released a lot. So yeah. So the post ends like this. Either way, I miss Dominique. I miss Cosmic. I miss me. I just feel like mommy, and that's it. And don't get me wrong, it's so beautiful to be mommy. So beautiful. I don't regret my daughter at all. It just hits different being mommy while you're drowning inside, constantly being needed but unable to fulfill your own needs. Just my thoughts, a much needed release. The tears are healing, and sometimes even they feel stuck. And that's how it ends. And you know what? I'm in this there too. Thanks for listening. I love y'all. I know it's been quite some time. I'm gonna get back on my shit and I'm gonna start back recording like I used to. I love my naked truthers. Y'all are so dope. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for being here on my journey. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for just, like I said, listening, sharing for all that y'all do. Peace. I love y'all. Stay tuned.